How much do finances play a role in your relationship? It's a question we might not always ask, and yet it's a phenomenon that's more common than you'd think. Many people find themselves in relationships influenced heavily by financial considerations. These aren't just casual flings or fleeting romances, but serious, committed relationships where money, rather than love, becomes a significant driving factor. From the rising cost of living to the burden of student loan debt, there are countless economic realities pushing individuals towards such decisions. It's not just about gold digging or opportunism, but survival, security, and the quest for a stable life. But what does this mean for the individuals involved? And how does it impact the dynamics of their relationships? Is it possible for such a relationship to evolve into something more emotionally fulfilling? Let's delve into this intriguing subject and explore some real-life scenarios. In an era of rising living costs, financial constraints can become a significant factor in relationship decisions. It's a reality that many of us grapple with, perhaps more often than we'd like to admit. The cost of living, particularly in terms of housing, has skyrocketed in recent years. In many cities, it's become nearly impossible for one person to afford living alone. This economic pressure may lead individuals to seek or maintain relationships not purely out of love, but out of a practical need to share expenses. It's quite a sobering thought, isn't it? The romantic ideal of love as the sole driving force behind our relationships seems to be giving way to the harsh realities of modern economics. The need to put a roof over our heads, to keep the lights on, can push us into relationships that we might not have considered otherwise. The term financial compatibility has gained traction, with more and more people acknowledging that money matters in matters of the heart. But it's not just about housing costs. The rise of the gig economy, the burden of student loan debt, and the general uncertainty of the current economic climate have all contributed to this shift. These factors can influence our decisions about who we choose to share our lives with and how we navigate our relationships. And yet, it's important to remember that while financial considerations can play a role in our relationships, they don't have to define them. Money can be a factor, but it needn't be the only factor. It's possible to find a balance, to seek out relationships that fulfill us emotionally as well as financially. So the economic realities can indeed shape our personal relationships. But what other factors come into play? Beyond economic realities, societal expectations and cultural norms also play a significant role. When we speak of relationships, we're navigating a realm that isn't merely personal, but also deeply embedded in the social fabric. It's important to understand that societal expectations and cultural norms can often exert a subtle yet profound influence on our decisions about relationships. In many societies, there's a long-standing expectation for individuals to pair up, settle down, and share a domestic life. This drive, often reinforced by family pressure, societal norms, and even media portrayals, can lead to individuals feeling compelled to be in relationships. When financial constraints are added to the mix, the pressure to be in a relationship can be even more intense. Moreover, cultural norms around money and relationships can also contribute to this phenomenon. In some cultures, for instance, it's widely accepted that a partner should provide financial stability. This can further drive individuals into relationships for financial reasons, even if love or emotional connection might be lacking. But let's not forget, we're all human. And humans are complex creatures. We're capable of making decisions based on a multitude of factors, and not all of them are always perfectly aligned. It's entirely possible for someone to be in a relationship for financial reasons, while also seeking companionship, security, or even hoping for love to develop over time. But even in such circumstances, open communication remains key. Talking about money can be uncomfortable, but it's crucial in a relationship. Indeed, open dialogue about finances is integral to a healthy and transparent relationship. It's a topic that cannot be swept under the rug, especially when financial circumstances play a significant role in the decision to enter or maintain a relationship. Just as you would discuss other aspects of your relationship, such as emotional needs and shared responsibilities, financial considerations too need to be put on the table. This means having candid conversations about income, debts, savings and financial goals. It means acknowledging if financial stability is a significant factor in your decision to be together. But here's the key. These conversations need to be approached with honesty and sensitivity. It's about laying bare your financial situation, your fears, your hopes, and also respecting your partner's viewpoint. It's about creating a safe space where both parties feel heard and understood. And while we're on the subject of transparency, let's also remember that honesty extends beyond just financial matters. It's about being clear about what you want from the relationship, what your expectations are, and what your deal breakers might be. Now, it's also important to note that being in a relationship primarily for financial reasons does not necessarily mean the absence of love or respect. In fact, it's quite possible to care deeply for your partner and still acknowledge the practical benefits of shared living expenses. But here lies a delicate balance. If finances are the dominant factor, there's a risk that emotional needs might take a back seat. This can potentially lead to feelings of resentment or dissatisfaction down the line. That's why it's important to continually reassess the balance between financial considerations and emotional needs. In the end, every relationship is unique, and what works for one might not work for another. And that's okay. What matters is that you're honest with yourself and your partner, and that you're both willing to navigate the complexities of your situation together. While finances can influence relationship decisions, it's important to balance financial and emotional needs. Remember, open communication is not just about talking, it's about listening too. Finding a balance between financial considerations and emotional needs can be a tightrope walk. It's a delicate dance, a juggling act of sorts, where the heart and wallet often find themselves on opposite ends of the scale. It's a reality that many of us navigate daily, and it's particularly pronounced in relationships where finances play a significant role. In a perfect world, our relationships would be driven purely by love, companionship, and shared values. However, we understand that the world we live in is far from perfect. Economic realities often compel us to make decisions that we otherwise might not. The rising costs of living, the need for a secure roof over our heads, and the desire for a comfortable life can sometimes tip the scales towards financial considerations. But this does not mean that love and emotion are completely out of the picture. In fact, financial stability can provide a solid foundation upon which emotional bonds can flourish. When partners are not constantly worried about making ends meet, they can focus more on nurturing their relationship, building shared experiences, and growing together. However, let's not forget that money is a tool, not the end goal. While it's important to acknowledge the role of finances in our relationships, it shouldn't overshadow emotional needs. Communication, respect, trust, affection, these are the cornerstones of a healthy relationship. Money can facilitate comfort and security, yes, but it cannot buy these emotional essentials. Therefore, it's crucial to strike a balance. Open discussions about money can help prevent financial issues from becoming emotional ones. A clear understanding of each partner's financial expectations can help avoid misunderstandings and resentment down the line. It's about finding a middle ground where financial stability and emotional fulfillment coexist. This balance is not a static state but a dynamic process. It requires constant reassessment and adjustment as circumstances change. And yes, it can be challenging, it can be uncomfortable, but it's a necessary part of ensuring that our relationships are not just financially sound, but also emotionally fulfilling. But what happens when a relationship is primarily driven by financial considerations? When finances become the driving force of a relationship, it can take a toll on emotional well-being. This is a reality for many individuals who find themselves in relationships primarily driven by economic considerations. One's emotional well-being is deeply intertwined with the quality of relationships they maintain. When a relationship is anchored more on financial security than on mutual respect, love, or shared interests, it can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction, loneliness, or even resentment. This could manifest as a sense of being trapped or a feeling of living a life that's not genuinely one's own. Moreover, the stress of maintaining a facade can be emotionally draining. It's like living in a perpetual state of unease, always wondering if your partner would still choose to be with you if the financial dynamics were different. This constant worry can lead to anxiety, depression, and a host of other mental health issues. In such relationships, there's also the added pressure of financial dependence. The fear of losing financial stability can often overshadow the desire for emotional fulfillment, leading individuals to stay in relationships that are not emotionally satisfying. The impact on emotional well-being can be profound. It's essential to remember that while money can provide security and comfort, it cannot replace the deep emotional connection that forms the basis of a fulfilling relationship. So how can one navigate such a complex situation? Change is the only constant, even in relationships based on financial considerations. As we journey through life, our circumstances, needs, and desires inevitably shift. This rings true even for relationships that are propelled primarily by financial reasons. It's not uncommon for individuals to find themselves in relationships that were initially driven by economic needs. But what happens when there's a shift? When the financial landscape changes, or when emotional needs start to outweigh financial ones? Navigating these transitions can be challenging, but is essential for personal growth and the health of the relationship. The first step is always acknowledging the change. It might be a change in your financial stability, emotional needs, or even the dynamics of the relationship itself. Once you've recognized this shift, it's time to communicate openly with your partner. Discuss your evolving needs and expectations and understand theirs as well. This open dialogue can lay the groundwork for a smoother transition. It's also important to remember that it's okay to seek help. If you're finding it tough to navigate these changes, consider reaching out to a counselor or a trusted mentor. Professional guidance can provide the tools and strategies to manage these transitions effectively. Remember, seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but a step towards a healthier relationship. So embrace change, communicate openly, and don't hesitate to seek support when you need it. After all, the goal is not just to survive these transitions, but to thrive through them. In challenging times, professional counseling or support groups can be a beacon of hope. Life can be a roller coaster, filled with highs, lows, and unexpected turns. And when it comes to relationships driven largely by financial considerations, the ride can get even more tumultuous. In such situations, it's absolutely crucial to reach out and seek help. Professional counseling can provide a safe space to express feelings, navigate complex emotions, and find constructive ways to handle the pressures that come along. Counselors can offer strategies for better communication, conflict resolution, and even financial management. Support groups, too, can be incredibly beneficial. They provide a sense of community, a feeling of not being alone in your struggles. Hearing others share their experiences can offer new insights and perspectives, and it can also be a source of comfort and reassurance. It's important to remember that seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but rather it's a testament to your strength and resilience. It's about acknowledging that you're human, that you're facing challenges, and that you're willing to take steps towards a healthier, happier life. Support doesn't always have to be professional, though. Friends and family can be a great source of comfort and guidance. Don't hesitate to lean on them when you need to. In the end, it's important to cultivate healthy financial habits and strive for financial independence. Financial stability can contribute to more fulfilling relationships. This is a principle that often gets overlooked in the rush of everyday life. It's essential to remember that taking control of your financial situation can empower you and bring a sense of security and peace within your relationships. Cultivating healthy financial habits is a journey. It begins with understanding your financial standing, setting realistic goals, and consistently working towards them. Exploring avenues for financial independence, such as diversifying income sources and investing wisely, can also be beneficial. Remember, it's never too late to start. Small steps like creating a budget, cutting unnecessary expenses, or saving a portion of your income can lead to significant changes over time. And don't forget, open communication about finances within relationships can eliminate misunderstandings and foster mutual respect and trust. After all, a relationship should be a partnership, not a dependency. So take charge of your financial health today for a more fulfilling tomorrow.